Hi guys, my name is Jenna. If you guys are new here, welcome back to my channel. Welcome to our preparing for 2026 video. Today we're going to talk all things 2026, preparing for a new year, planning, preparing, prepping, talking through, discussing, all the things. My goal is that by the end of this video, you guys will feel more comfortable and honestly ready to make 2026 your year. I have a whole list that I've thought about for a long time here in my journal. This is my pocket journal. I have a whole separate video coming soon on all of my journals, but I have this whole planning system that I've been using for the last couple of years. If you guys are subscribed to my channel, then you've seen my monthly plan with me videos. You've seen my vlogs where I'm adopting my monthly plans into my everyday life. And I have everything in here that you need to have a good year, mindsets to have, questions to answer, things to think about, and just ways that you can prepare yourself for the next year. Because there's obviously two types of people. People that think that a new year is so lame, or other people like me that feel fueled by a new year. I literally love the feeling of a new year. I feel like I just have something new to accomplish, a new time of my own life that I don't even know what's to come, and I'll just make the most of it. Especially if you're somebody that wants to leave something in 2025, leave something in the current year that you've had. Maybe you haven't had the best year possible. Maybe things have happened that have not gone your way this year. Well, a new year is a new start. And it's literally in the change of a day, waking up, and nothing actually changes. But things can change if you want them to. So I have things written down that I want to go through with you today. One of my journals in here is a list book where I write down meaningful lists in my life, not grocery lists or to-do lists, but lists of questions or things or topics and just stuff I want to keep, such as date nights with my fiance and gift ideas. And two of the things that I have today are reflecting on a previous year and planning for a new year. So I want to talk through every single one with you. I just want to be able to chat in this video more than anything. That's literally why I have a cup of coffee with my little mic right here. Wait, hold on. I just want to talk to you guys today about things that have helped me, I feel strengthen my mindset about having a good year, and things that have actually helped me accomplish the goals that I set out to have in the beginning of every single year. If you guys watch my Plan With Me videos, you see that in real time, me accomplishing my goals. And I feel I have a really good mindset on how we can not only create goals and complete them and check things off, but also just feel good about who we are and how we see the world and what life is like for us every single year. So this has actually helped me really live a lot more intentionally, with a lot more gratitude and a lot more happiness, and just feeling better about life in general. So if any of this resonates with you, then I hope you guys will subscribe and stick around. Let's go ahead and get started. Okay, first things first, when preparing for a new year or setting up for a new year or thinking about the new year that's to come, I think it is so important, genuinely equally just as important, to think about and actually assess how your current year went. And when it comes to planning for a new year, thinking about what you want to accomplish, you can't do any of that until you actually assess, how do you feel about your life right now? How do you feel about yourself? How do you feel about how you've lived the last year of your life? It's so much more important than people realize. Self-assessment and reflection genuinely is so important. So I have a couple of things that I think will help you kind of just whether you journal or you talk to someone else about it, or you just record yourself for your own YouTube channel if you have that, or your own Instagram. Share this with other people because I think it's good to have these conversations. It's just nice to have meaningful, deep conversations, I think. So here are a couple of things that I want you guys to think about when assessing the last year. Things that have changed my life in 2025. I'm going to share a couple of things that have changed my life. I'm still working on this. This is really only a half done list, but I think it's so important to start the assessment of the last year in a positive way. So what are things that have changed your life in a positive way in the last year? For me, the first thing that I think of obviously is journaling. This is something that I've been talking about in basically every single one of my videos ever since I started a new journal back in October. And I've never been consistent with journaling ever in my life. It's something that I've always wanted to do, but I never felt like I kind of knew how to do it or accomplish it, or I never had a feeling of feeling motivated to even make a journal and complete it and stuff. So the idea of memory keeping is what actually changed my whole entire perspective on journaling in general. I see it as one day I could lose my memory, or one day I'll get to the end of my life. I know it's kind of morbid, but I want to be able to keep the memories that I have in my life, whether it's my daily memories of just making coffee or going on a walk with my fiance, documenting how I feel about these memories of my dog being 2 years old at this time. I feel sometimes when I think about my life, especially when I'm younger, I'm okay, yeah, this happened to me when I was 7 or 10 or 8. I don't even know what age I was when certain memories happened. And I feel if I documented my life a little bit more, then I would have remembered things better. So I've just had this whole kind of epiphany of the idea of memory memory keeping. It's really encouraged me to actually journal more in 2025 at the very end of the year. And it's genuinely changed my life this year. So I'll always think of 2025 with journaling. Second is walking, lifting, and running for fun. So if you guys are not new to my channel, then you know that I ran a full marathon last year in 2024. And before that, I think I ran like 3 or 4 half marathons. Like I had this whole entire journey of getting into long distance running as an adult, just ways to feel more fulfilled in your post-grad life. This year in 2025, I was not going to train for a full marathon this year. And I already knew that. And I want running to be like a long-term thing for me, like an ebbs and flow of my life. And so this is just one of the areas of time in my life where 2025 was not a year that I was really focusing on training for a long distance race, like a full marathon, but I did run 2 half marathons for fun. And I just adopted the whole entire idea and habit of running for fun in 2025. And I really incorporated a good, consistent routine of lifting. I go to Barry's boot camp twice a week where I do double lifts. It's just like a whole hour of lifting every single time. And it's just so much fun. And walking, I've really enjoyed walking for fun this year. That's something that I used to do back in 2021. I would say I would go on a lot of long walks for exercise, but the combination of walking, lifting, and running for fun has just been like so life-changing for me. I feel so good about myself, both physically, mentally, personally. It's like self-care time for me. It's time for myself. And I usually like to do it before work. So it just feels like more meaning in my life before I log on to my 9-to-5 job. So walking, lifting, and running has truly changed my life in 2025. Third, I have decreasing expectations from others. This is something that I truthfully have just personally been working on in my life. I feel like previously I used to feel like pretty disappointed by people because I felt like I wouldn't receive the type of effort or thought or consideration that I would give to them. But then I realized, and I really worked on this for the entire year, just personally, I never talked about it too much, I guess, but decreasing your expectations from people, like not actually expecting anything from anybody is so much more peaceful than people realize. It's a little sad at first. You're like, oh, I don't really want to expect nothing from anybody because I like to give myself to others in a certain way. But I've just had a whole reframing of my mindset and change of perspective that decreasing my expectations from others doesn't change how I want to give love to people. And it should fill my own cup and be fulfilling in my own way to give to others in some way, whether it's with time, with money, with gifts, with thoughts, like thinking of other people, that it should just be a joy for myself and with absolutely no expectation in return, so that when anybody does give me any thought, a text or a call or something, then it just feels something that I should be grateful for instead of something that I was expecting that I did or did not get. So I had a whole change in my mindset about the idea of expectations from others. And it's truly changed my life because I feel like this year I've really learned to just like be more content with myself. That was something that in my own life, that's something that I kind of talked about in the beginning of the year of just like how I wanted to feel about my life, and decreasing expectations from others is what's really, I think, helped me be more peaceful. Lastly, so far, actually taking more control of my stress. Something that I genuinely try to remind myself often, and I'm still working on this, I probably always will, is that I am in control of my own stress. Even the things that stress me out that I don't control, I can control how I process a stressful thing. And that change in mindset has genuinely changed my life so much because it makes me realize that I'm in control of my life. Even if something happens to me that I can't control, I can control how I process it, and I can control how I see it, and I can control how I move forward from something that's happened to me. So that entire mindset too has just totally changed my life. And I'm really grateful for that because I feel like I've really strengthened my mental health overall this year. And I feel like those two things, decreasing expectations and reducing stress, knowing that I have more control over my stress, has really helped me over time too. When you take accountability for yourself and your own life and even what's happened to you, and knowing that all of your actions that you take and decisions that you make are up to you, it is like so empowering. And I feel like it's actually made me enjoy my life a lot more, knowing that I am in more control of my life, even the things that have given me trouble or stress. So yeah, those are the things that have changed my life in 2025. And I share all of these things so that you can start thinking about things that have changed your life in 2025, even if you didn't realize it. Because these things, I had to sit down and actually think, what has changed my life in 2025? And I feel like it's been so, so helpful. Next, we're going to talk about end of year reflections overall. And these are just overall questions. I'm not going to answer all of these myself, but I want to be able to share and kind of like give more context to these questions that you can ask yourself, that you can journal about, that you can document, that you can talk to other people about. I love end of year conversations. It's just like actually so much fun for me. If anybody has hung out with me in person, you know, I love talking about end of year things. So, okay, these are the questions that I have documented of like meaningful questions that help me really think about the last year. year? What did you want to focus on this year? And did you actually focus on it? So it's like a simple yes or no question at the end, but it really makes you think about like, okay, how did I want to feel in the beginning of the year? Or how did I feel? Or like, what did I want to do? Not just like, what were my goals? What did I do? Yes and no. Did I work out every single day? No. What did you want to focus on in general in 2025? Because for me, it was contentment. Like I wanted to feel more content about my life, getting to the end of the year, talking about the things that have changed my life. It's related to stuff that I wanted to focus on. And it can be anything, whether it's you want to complete a full marathon and you want to focus on the habits that will lead you to do that, or you want to focus on a feeling. Like I just want to feel more content with my life. I want to feel happier about my life. Did you focus on that? Yes or no? And I feel like in doing that, and we'll talk about that soon, it'll relate to your goals. Like, did you accomplish most of your goals? And not like metric-based goals, but did you feel good about what you wanted to do in 2025? Next, what challenges came up this year that were unexpected? Because as everybody knows, most people will just make a list of goals. You don't look at it. Life happens. Things happen that you don't know because we can't predict the future. And then we get to the end of the year and we're like, okay, did we do this? Yes or no? And it's like a free for all. Not here. It's not a free for all here on this channel, because checking in on our goals is something that's really important. It actually allows us to like remind ourselves of like what we wanted to accomplish this year. Every month we do a monthly plan with me session here on this YouTube channel where we think about what we want to accomplish in the year. So we're thinking about the year every month. And I think it's important to identify what challenges came up this year that you didn't expect, because if there are goals that you didn't accomplish, a lot of times it's because something came up that you didn't realize would, and it just got in the way of something that you wanted to do. And I think that's completely normal and that's okay. And that makes us human and that makes life life. So being able to identify what things either in or out of your control challenged you in accomplishing a certain goal is really important to just like say. It's not something to be ashamed of. It's something to just like know and be aware of, because it'll help you when you're thinking about the next year. So what challenges came up this year that were unexpected? And just like, how did you face it? Next, what milestones or achievements did you reach or strive to reach? This kind of relates on like what you wanted to focus on, but this one is more, I guess, like milestone focused. As idealist as I am, obviously, with all of this, I think it is important to outline what milestones or achievements we did accomplish in 2025. There's like that whole trend going on in TikTok right now that's like an achievements cake. So do that with your friends. Like go get a random cheap cake from the grocery store, or make a cake if you know how to bake a cake. And if you know how to bake a good cake, and get some toothpicks, get some little page flags, and write down, what did you accomplish this year? What milestones did you reach? For me, a couple of things that come to mind for me are I landed a partnership with a workout studio that I genuinely know and love, like Barry's. I completed a 75 hard modified version, but it was so challenging and I completed it. So stuff like that. I reached 50,000 subscribers on my YouTube channel. So it wasn't just like metric-based things. And this is the time, I think, to acknowledge the metric-based goals, because they're so tangible and they're so like objective. So, which ones did you accomplish? Whether it's 1 or 5 or 10, or even if it's 0, I know that there's something you can think of that you accomplished this year. Like, did you do a whole entire house declutter? That's really hard. So if you did that, that is a milestone, and it's an achievement to document. Did you buy a house this year? Did you move this year? Did you move in with your partner? Did you enjoy living alone? What accomplishments do you have from this year that you want? Because if you really think hard, I know you can think of at least one. What habits did you work on or form this year? Habits are a huge thing. It's actually the foundation of everything, our habits. It ties into who we are. It ties into being a consistent person. It contributes to like overall growth and change and just working on ourselves. It's like, habits are amazing. People don't realize it. Like, that's why I like to track my habits. I like to think about my habits. My goals revolve around my habits. So think about, what habits did you work on or form this year? For me, it was really like having a balanced workout routine. And that was something that was really huge, because health and fitness is just an entirely huge goal of mine. It's literally a part of my lifestyle. So I really wanted to be able to focus on the habits relating to my health and fitness in 2025, because I knew it was going to be different from 2024. So what habits did you work on or form this year? And then I really worked on my morning routine too. I feel like my morning routine has become like literally my sacred time of my entire day, every single day. And working on that habit every single month of the year has really contributed, I think, to me just being more satisfied with my life. So yeah, what habits did you work on? What memories will you carry with you from this year? So similar to the idea of memory keeping, with journaling being something that's changed me a lot in 2025, I think it's important to think about what memories, like similar to the milestones, like what memories do you want to keep with you? Like, did you go travel with somebody new for the first time? Did you travel at all? travel, not even with somebody? Did you travel somewhere new for the first time in 2025? Did you grow a friendship with somebody in this year? Did you leave behind a friendship that you needed to this year? What memories do you want to carry with you? Because whether they're good or bad, they will affect who we are. They do affect who we are. And I think it's important to know what memories are going to be carried with us, and just like being able to identify that instead of thinking it's like somewhere in the cloud of your brain. It really goes a long way to just like identify what memories you're going to keep with you. Second to last, I have, did you like how you treated yourself and others this year? This is so important. I think not enough people talk about this. How did you treat yourself this year? Were you happy about your life? Were you living with gratitude or not? Were you living in a negative mindset or a positive mindset? Like, where were you in 2025? How did you treat yourself this year? And this will probably be related to any challenges that you faced or something you wanted to focus on, but all of these are related because this is like life, you know? How did you treat yourself? Because how you treat yourself does affect how you treat other people. And you have to think about, like, have you been treating them well? Is that because you feel good about yourself? Is that because you want to give yourself some love and you want to give others the love that you want to give yourself, that you tried to give yourself? Did that also reflect in the way that you treated others, and especially the people that you love? And I think that idea sometimes is like a way to ground yourself, or just like you love the people you care about, hopefully. And just like, I always think about that. If I've been having a hard time, it does affect the way that I treat people, and that's just not fair. So in whatever habits or therapy or any way that will help you treat yourself better will also work in return, because you'll treat others and the people you care about better too. And I feel like that really, just like, they really go hand in hand for me. And I feel like it's really important, at least to me. And then lastly, sum up your year in 3 words. I think it's so important to do that. Not just one word. Don't idolize this one word that you have for 2025, but like, what are 3 things that you think of? It doesn't have to be words, but like 3 phrases. Like, what are 3 ways that you want to just sum up the year? I'm still working on these words for me, truthfully, but one of them I know for me is contentment. I would definitely say I've become a lot more content with my life this year. And I would also say consideration. I've worked a lot on being more considerate of others, especially in the way that I present myself and like the way that I show up for other people. I'm trying to be more considerate with that. I think I'm still thinking about the 3rd one, but there was something that came to mind. That's why it's important to write these things down. I'm just going to forget otherwise. I think that's it as of right now. I'm still trying to think of the 3rd one, but it's just an exercise for you to just wrap up the year. Like, what was a challenge, you know? Okay, that's everything for end of year reflections, questions to ask yourself, things to think about, stuff to talk about with other people. Next and lastly, we're going to go into the preparing for 2026. First one is, how do you want to feel about your life a year from now? I think it's so important to work backwards when we're thinking about a new year. Working backwards is just the only way that I've seen it, and it's the only way that I genuinely feel like works for me. But when you think about like what you want your life to look like at the end of the year, even though we have no idea what's to come in the future, we can still work on our habits and our mindset, and that will not change. Like, we can work on that even if we don't know what happens. So thinking about, how do you want to feel about yourself and your life by the end of the year? Like, do you want to run the marathon or run a race, or do you want to work on the habit of your workout routine? Like, think about like what you want to focus on, because the questions that, you know, I had before were, what did you focus on? So these are all like, what do you want to focus on at the end of the year? And then you can form your monthly goals through that mindset of what you want the end of the year to look like. I think it's so easy, honestly, to be able to work backwards in that way. And it makes making your goals a lot easier too. So that's the first question to ask yourself. Next is, how do you want to feel about yourself? Behaviors, mindsets, self-worth, habits, stuff like that. Like, how do you want to feel about yourself in a whole year? I think it's important at this point to think about like what you have coming up this year, whether it's like a big milestone or a big travel or like a big life event, just because those things do shape our year. But I think it's also really important too to think about like how you want to feel about yourself and how you want to present yourself to yourself and others. We're not gaining any time here in our life, okay? Like, we're only living each year and we can't take that back. So I think it's important to try to live as intentionally as possible by thinking about like, how do I actually want to present myself to other people and myself? Like, how do I want to show up for myself? Next, I have, what habits can help you get there? Redundant goals are best and the most reasonable ones. Okay, at this point, we're kind of working in a funnel. We're like thinking about in general, like, how do we want to feel about this year? And then we're thinking about, how do we want to feel about ourselves this year? And then even more specifically, we're thinking about what habits can help us get to how we want to feel about ourselves, our life by the end of the next year. And habits are, for me, that's how I make my monthly goals. And you see that in my monthly plan with me videos if you watch them. It's kind of the only way I know how to make goals, because the only way that we can work on like accomplishing something or growing in some way in 12 months is working on it every single month in some capacity. And that includes making the same goal over and over again until it literally feels like a habit, working on a habit until it actually is a habit. And so habits really do make up a lot of my monthly goals because it contributes to 12 months time of working on something. So we're getting like more specific now. Next, when you think about all these habits, it's like, okay, there's like a lot going on and I don't really know how to do this. And like, what do I do? And so I want you to think about what buckets of topics can you form from these habits? So for me, in my monthly Plan With Me series, I have career, health and fitness, language learning, and wedding planning, because I'm planning a wedding this year too. Each bucket probably has in between like 3 and 5 goals. And so when you think about it, that's like 15 goals at least. That's a lot of goals to accomplish. And it can be really daunting. But when you think about it in buckets like that, you just chip out one thing in each bucket every single month, and then you rotate. It's like so easy when I think about it that way. And I think creating little buckets also helps you see like how balanced your goals are, or are you just focusing on like one bucket entirely in 2026? I think that's also just like, it's a good awareness thing to have so that you know you can be reasonable with yourself and that you know that your redundant goals will still contribute to like the larger buckets that you have. Next, what do you have upcoming this year for you and others? I think I'd already talked about that, but like travel, weddings, are there any big birthdays? Just because they do affect more of your time than you think. Like if you have a big birthday, like if your mom is turning 60, then that does not just like happen overnight. It usually involves like some planning if you have a birthday coming up. If you're traveling, that literally has a whole entire buffer of like 1 week before and after travel, probably accomplishing nothing other than the travel at hand. Stuff like that, I think, also affects like your financial goals. So I think it's important to know what you have upcoming this year for you that is large enough that you already know, because even though we can't predict what will happen in the future, we do already know what some of the big plans are. Next, what milestones do you want to reach in this year? That's a huge question. And I think it's okay if you don't have any big milestones that you want to accomplish. If you just want to work on your daily self and your daily life and your habits, like that's going to be a milestone in itself at the end of the year. But if you do have a metric based or like a big milestone that you do want to reach towards that you feel like you're close to, for me, it's 75,000 subscribers on YouTube, even though like if I don't reach it, it's fine. I think a milestone goal should be something that it's like a big milestone. It's a dream. So if you don't reach it, it's completely okay. And you can still be 100% satisfied if you don't reach this milestone, but you can work on habits and you can make goals for yourself that can lead you closer to achieving it. So I think it's always important to have something that you're working towards in your life, whether it feels like a big, giant, scary goal that you feel like is a pipe dream, or just a milestone that you know is coming up that you just want to make sure that you're working on. So milestones are important to recognize in the next year. Second to last, I have how can you give yourself more support this year and who is your support system? This kind of relates back to like how did you treat yourself and others? And so when thinking about a new year, how can you give yourself more support? Are you giving yourself enough time in your life? Are you giving yourself enough hobbies and passions that it's not too much? Are you feeling overwhelmed? Or do you feel like you have control? Or do you have a planner that helps you feel like you have more support? Like in what ways can you give yourself more support? Are you sleeping too late? So you should probably work on sleeping earlier. Anything like that, I think is important for giving yourself more support, because if you can give yourself more support, you can give others support too. But you can't support other people if you're not supporting yourself. A sub bullet of that is for sure like who is your support system? Because even though you shouldn't really depend on anybody but yourself, it is important to know who your support system is, just because if you do need to lean on somebody, because we're all human, who are those people for you? And just knowing that gives, at least for me, a lot of comfort. So I know I have myself and I can depend on myself, but knowing I have a support system too just helps me feel like I'm not alone in this world, you know? Okay, and then lastly, this is a simple one that I feel like everyone does, but I always like this exercise, and I put this in my Notion template, which is going to be coming soon. What do you want more and less of in your life? It could be anything. Like, do you want more cooking? Do you want more healthy dinners? Or do you want to try something new more? Do you want to travel more? Like, what do you want more of just in general? Obviously, we all want less screen time. We all want more healthy habits and stuff, but try to think a little bit longer on like, what are feelings, things, people, aspects of life that you just want more of? Like what can help you feel more plentiful in life? And in turn, what can you use less of? Because like, what are things that you just don't need? Like obviously negativity, scroll time, screen time, you know, all that stuff we can use less of. And I think it's also good to see the things that obviously we all know, but what are like less of things in general? Like for me, I think I need less social plans, and that's going to be really hard for me, but I just know that I don't need as many social plans as I give myself. So I'm just trying to work on that. That's just like one of my answers. But what can you have less of in your life that will in turn contribute to a pretty good year? And that is officially everything that I have. Everything, like I said, in here is in my pocket journal because I love this so much. It's like my baby, and I have a whole video coming soon on all of my journals. This is just the one that I keep keep important random things with. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I had so much fun making this video. I love talking about this stuff. Like, my content in all of December is all about preparing for 2026, whether it's in a sit down way like this with tangible things, or taking you guys along my life, showing you what things I'm resetting in my life in 2026. My planner set up, like all the things. This is truly like my favorite time of year, at least as a creator and as a person too, but as a creator for sure. So I hope you guys enjoyed this, and I hope you guys will stick around. That's everything for this video. I will see you guys in a new one very soon. Make sure you're subscribed if you're not already. I post new videos twice a week in 2025. I love you guys so much. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you guys in my next video, but until then, miss you already.